Hi, it's Spilling with Lee, and I am here to update you on day one of the Diddy trial. So, quite a day, started off strong and with a bang. As you may recall, the judge had asked that the final jury selection, be done on Monday. So, picking out the jurors, swearing them in, starting opening statements, and going right into other witnesses. So, that's exactly what happened today. The jurors were picked, 12 jurors, 8 of them are men, 4 of them are women. So that's really interesting how that played out. Still a pretty diverse jury selection, although the defense did have complaints that the prosecution had struck down, meaning got rid of, I believe, 9 blacks that could potentially be on the jury. And I believe the prosecution has 10 strikes that they can use to dismiss people, and 9 of them were on blacks. So that I can see the race card already starting to come in. So we'll see how that plays out. So went into opening statements, and boy, was that interesting. So opening statements started with the prosecution going right into the abuse of Cassie and the abuse of other women and some very graphic and horrible things that he did to them. Again, reiterated the coercion piece and that these were not willing participants. They were held against their will for years doing all types of acts, and that there were all types of people there to make sure these things happen. Of course, the defense, they're standing on these are educated, strong women. These were relationships. There was a lot of jealousy because they admittedly said that he was not a choir boy. He was not a Boy Scout. He is not necessarily a great guy, but what he is, he could be guilty of DV, but definitely not the other things. So he admitted to the violence in that aspect, but definitely said it was not coerced. And so I think that's going to be a lot of the defense that they're going to stand on is these are consensual adults. There were relationships that went bad. He cheated on women. Women got mad. They fought each other. So it was not just abuse. So I don't think that is going to stand, but I think it's enough where it will cause some jurors to question and maybe pause and wonder if there's more to the story. Premise, their whole premise is to create doubt, right? That one juror to just doubt whether this was trafficking, what this was. So they are reiterating the point of these were relationships that went bad because he cheated. And even that incident in the hotel, it was Cassie stealing his phone, finding out about another girl, and it turned into a fight. They also did show the video, and the point, even with the video, they slowed it down because, in their opinion, the defense was saying it looks very different. It's a very different story when the video is slowed down at a normal pace and just showing a normal fight, right? There's nothing normal about being dragged, kicked, all those things. So, but there was more of the video shown. So this came up with the first witness, which was actually the officer on site at the Intercontinental. Apparently, he did make two copies of the actual video because he wanted to take it to show his wife. So he made another copy with his phones, and that's how he was able to keep the copy. So he testified. He was on the stand for quite a while talking about that day and everything that transpired, the fight between the two of them. At one point, they had to pin Diddy against a wall because he went after a front desk clerk who he thought was recording the whole thing. He was very angry, yelling at her, and also made a point to say that Cassie actually just said she just wanted to get out of there. She wanted to get out of there. She was upset. She wanted to leave. The another interesting point was they asked, I think the defense asked, was the police ever called? Because this, mind you, are security officers at the hotel. Police was never called. Cassie just emphasized she wanted to get out. So really the officers and hotel staff was trying to just diffuse the situation, assess damages, get Cassie out, right? So so that was the hotel testimony with that officer there that day. The second witness for the day was an adult worker that participated with, I think his name was David Phillip, that participated several times with Cassie and Diddy. It was interesting in the testimony, and I'm sure this was all strategic, that Diddy actually, or I don't know if it was Diddy, if we're assuming what we're assuming, but Cassie was the one who would actually pay the worker. So I'm assuming Diddy did that on purpose. Diddy was in disguise, but the worker said he recognized his voice, that he pretended he was a man that was in imports and exports, and that she was doing this for her husband, right? So very graphic detail. Disgusting things happened that just broke my heart. And it was just horrific to think about that this is something that she endured. I think things that are going to kind of confuse the jury a little bit, again, that she paid. She was the one who gave the money. She was the one who made the logistics and the arrangements. She was in disguise, like she had on a red wig and the whole getup. Those things are going to throw the jury off, possibly. Was this just play, and she was a willing participant, or was this something that she was definitely being forced into? He did say he had witnessed her being beat several times, being yelled at, things thrown at her when things didn't go right, or she might have said something back to him, all kinds of things. So he was able to testify that he witnessed some of that. So very, very rough day, rough morning. And there were other testimonies that I'm going to come back and share with you, but I wanted to just update you on the first half of the day and how things went. And I'm going to share another video on how the day ended. But definitely, I think the defense actually did a decent job of starting to show some seeds of doubt. So I will be back. Make sure you subscribe, like, share this video, and I'll be back regarding the second half of the day.